I'm gonna. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Daf Lamed Beis, and all good. It's in. So we got to the Mishnah. Zok the Mishnah Lamed Aleph Lamed Beis at the bottom. We actually saw some of these cases, so we'll be able to sort of run through it a little quicker. So Zeba b'Chavisa v'Zeba b'Koraso. So two people are walking. One guy holding a beam, one guy holding a barrel. So Nishba Kadosh Hazeh b'Koraso Hazeh Pater, right? If they bump into each other, so he's Pater. Why? Each one had permission to walk there. So the guy who was walking with the beam didn't do anything wrong. How that was if they're walking towards each other. If it was Haya Kara Balakara Rishon Balachavis Achron, but let's say the guy with the beam was in front and the guy holding the barrel was behind him. Nishbra Chavis Bikara, the guy is walking faster behind him.
Who's it first?
The beam is in front. Okay. And the guy walking the barrel walks too fast and walks into the guy. So the guy Pater Balakara, the guy who owns the beam is Pater because he was just walking normally, didn't do anything wrong. Beam Ahmad Balakara, but if the person holding the beam is walking and suddenly stopped, Chayiv. Then he is obligated to pay because he stops suddenly. However, he says, he says, stop, because I just paused, careful. Then he's pater. So by warning him, he's pater. Haya Bal Chavis Risha, and now let's see the opposite. Let's say the guy with the barrels in front of Bal Kara Achron, the guy with the beam was behind him. And Nishbra Chavis Bekaira, if the guy who was walking with the beam was walking too fast and he walked into the barrel, then he's Chayiv. V'imamad Bal Chavis, let's say the guy, the Bal Chavis stops. Right? So the guy with the barrel stops, and then the guy behind him bumps into him with the beam and breaks it, then he's pater because the stopping is abnormal. However, if he says to the guy with the beam, Amod, stop, wait, I took a pause, don't walk into me, and then he proceeds to continue walking, then he is chai. So too, the same thing would apply if a person has, let's say, a fire, right? He's walking with a lamp, some sort of fire, and the other one was its flax. And so once again, the fire would be like the beam, and the flax would be like the barrel that that breaks the other one. So one goes ahead and causes damage to his wife while having relations. Since it was permissible activity in terms of having relations with his wife, then he's pater. I do like or he should have been more careful. Look at our Mishnah. Says our Mishnah is to say if both people have permission to do what they want to do. I have permission to walk with my beam, and you have permission to walk with your barrel. If I bump into you, or we bump into each other, I'm pater. So says Kavachaymer. So let's say the case of a forest, right? A person's a forest and he's chopping wood there, and then the axe flies off and it causes damage there. So nasa kimisha nichnas l'shus chavero v'chayev. So over there in that case, right? It's we have a person, let's say, who's chopping wood and the axe flies off and it kills somebody. He's chayev galus in that case. But in this case, it's like the guy came into my reshus, and therefore I'm chayev galus. In other words, if I was chopping wood in my backyard and I killed somebody in my backyard, I'm pater, right? But if I was in the yard, if I was in the forest, and it happened, then I'm chayev. That's nichnas lo kol shekain. So in that case, so I'm chayev. So over here with my wife, right, or with right, so the guy, the husband, and the wife. So certainly he would have, it's like he's going into her domain. If in other words, if I'm chayev, where it's an equal, domain, right? We're both in the forest. Certainly, I should be chayev when he's, physically he's in her domain. But what we said earlier, the svara of each one has permission to be there. So over there, each one is the same in the Rosh Hashanah. So over here, he's doing the Maisa. So since he's doing the Maisa, therefore he would be obligated in this case. And she's not. It says it says over there regarding relations. It says that you move both of them. Both of them are punished. So both of them are doing Maisa. So the answer is no. Hanod Tavayo Islu. No, there is the Hanod to both of them. However, Ihu Maisa who covered. He's the one who's doing the Maisa, and therefore the Chayra he should be Chayiv according to I think it was Rava. He should be Chayiv for damages. If the guy with walking with the beam was first, and and he stopped, then he's chayiv. But if the guy walked into him, then he's pater. Samash lakish. Shtei paris b'shus harabim. Achas. So let's look at the case we saw earlier. We had a case of two cows in the b'shus harabim. Achas revutza v'achas mahalecha. So one was acting abnormally, was squatting down, and the other one was just walking. So bata mahalechas bervutza. If the one that was walking kicked the one that was squatting, we say ptura. We said pater because the other one was acting abnormally. So therefore, you act abnormal because something abnormal, you're pater. Bervutza mahalechas chayavas. But in the case of the one that was squatting, kicked the one that was walking, so let's say our Mishnah perhaps could be a proof for it. If the guy with the beam was first and the guy with the barrel was second, and if the barrel, the guy, just walked too fast into the guy with the beam, then he's putter. The guy with the beam is putter. Right, but if he stood, then he's chayiv. So in this case, so it says over here in this case that so over here the guy who's in front he stops. So over here he would be like the one who was revutza b'malechas, right? And so the one that was squatting, if that one kicked the one that was malechas, right? David Tani Chayiv. It says over there that you should be Chayiv. So to over here, right? The one who was squatting, right? Excuse me. The one who was the guy with the beam in the front, he would be like the one who was hit from the one who's malechas, and therefore it says over there, and nevertheless it says Tani Chayiv. It says the Chayiv in that case. The one says I v'tisbra. It says ha suri boy loy mistai. Not only is it not approved to loy mistai, ella. Right? It sounds like it's actually a contradiction if you take a look at it. Why? Tama debiata. Sounds like only if he kicks it, right? That's what he's chayiv. Ha, who's kabin mela. But if it would just cause damage mela, then you'd be putter. In other words, that in the case of, let's say one was squatting and it caused damage, right? And then the one that was walking, let's say, the one that was walking tripped over the animal, right, or something. So then you be putter. It's only if the squatting animal kicks, right, the right. Only the squatting animal kicks the walking animal, but the squatting animal just was squatting, right, didn't do anything. Then maybe he's putter. So over here, right, the guy with the beam was didn't do anything. So the mahalachas, right. So it should be opposite. Who's coming? Mela putter. But in our case, the guy with the beam, if he just stops and the person walks into him, he's chayiv. So it's a kasha. It's a difference, right? In the case of the other one had to kick him, right? So since they had to kick him, that's when he's chayiv. But if you just stopped,
carrying the beam is an unusual act.
No, carrying the beam. No, carrying the beam is right. Stopping is the unusual act.
Oh, stopping with the beam.
Right. Stopping with the beam is the unusual act. Right, but it only says if you kick, then you're chayiv. But it sounds like if the walking animal would have tripped over the squatting animal, right, then maybe they'll be putter. So Gemara says, but our Mishnah says, in the Mela, there was no kicking in our case. Nevertheless, it says the person with the beam is chayiv. So the answer is no. Right? Over here, we're talking about a case of where basically in the Mishnah, the guy with the beam basically covered, went throughout. Yeah. He's 7:30. He does. He has carpal. So he's saying in that case that it was lying across the roadway, and therefore there was no other situation for the purpose of the person with the beam caused damage. And Hacha can go to Rava b'chad githa. He brought this be like githa, but over here, right? It was going on in one case. He could have walked around to the other side. Ella safer the Masisa Messiah. Actually, it would be the safer of the Mishnah would be a good proof. Why? The Reish Lakish. The Tani, it says over there, if the guy with the barrel was in front of the guy with the beam was behind him. If the barrel walked into the if the guy with the beam walked too fast, then he's chayiv. But the first person stops, then Baal Chavis Potter. Right. So over here, the one who was walking, right, right, he's walking to the one that was squatting. Tani says Potter, right. So you see that so the guy with the beam, right, if he plows into him, so over here, Malachas, right? So he's walking normally, right? So the guy with the baby's walking normally. So she's putter, just like the case of the animal's walking normally, kicks the animal that was squatting, putter. So it says, Masnisin ki because maski. No, it's different. Maybe in that Mishnah, it's normal. The guy was just walking with the beams. Therefore, you're putter. However, Haka, Amali needs the Chavarshus Lesguya Yalai, the Biyute be. Yeah, you have permission to go ahead and walk into my animal, right? My animal's squatting, so you can walk into it. You didn't have permission to go ahead and kick it. So therefore, maybe it's a different svara, and our Mishnah necessarily can't be used as a proof. Nai Mishnah.
Oh man.
All right. Shnayim Shayim Mahalchin, which is a rabbim. You got two people walking, and which is a rabbim, or Echad Ratz ve'Echad Mahalech, or one person was running and one person was walking. What the students in this case? Oh, Shayu Shnayim Ratzim, or both of them are running. It was because that's that, and they bumped into each other and caused damage. Shnayim Paturim, both of them are patur. So it seems over here we treat running like walking. Like one, normally no running the hallways, right? You can cause, damage. Over here, running seems to be okay. Seems to be just a normal usage of the public way, like walking. But let's see the Gemara. So Masnisa de Lakisi ben Yehuda. Our mission is Lakisi ben Yehuda. The time of the Rabbi Sisi ben Yehuda. Ratz chayiv b'pnei shumashuna. A person running is chayiv because it's not normal, right? That causes damage, right? Walking is normal, but running causes damage. But the isi Erev Shabbos Benish Mashos Shupater. But isi an Erev Shabbos when everyone's running around for Kavod Shabbos, then he's pater. Because over there he's running with permission. So he's running with permission, that's Rishus, then it's not considered to be Meshuna. So Rabbi Yechanan, Rabbi Yechanan says, that one is chayiv for running. Rabbi Yechanan that Rabbi Yechanan says, Rabbi Yechanan halacha kistam Mishnah. The halachas is like a stam Mishnah, but our Mishnah seems to say, Echad Ratz v'Echad Mahalech. One is running, one is walking. Oh, Shneim Ratzim, or both of them are running. Paturim are pater. So one is walking, one is running. Right? According to Isa ben Yehuda, the running is the Meshuna. He should be chayiv. But our Mishnah says there is pater. So Masnis and Erev Shabbos Benish Mashos. Right? No, our Mishnah must be talking about Erev Shabbos Benish Mashos. Why? Meditani Osha Yushneim Ratzim. Why did he give a case both of them are running? Right? Could have just said one is running, one is walking. He's pater. Obviously, two are running is each one is pater. No one did anything more than the other one. So why do you have to list that case? Hasul Amali. So hashda echad mahalech pater. One runs and one walks. The runner is pater. Shneim ratzim. Both are running. That teaches that. Halachi kamar. This is what it means to say echad ratzim echad mahalech. When one walks and one is running, the runner is pater. B'med zamurim. When is only that? Erev Shabbos benish mashos. When that person is rushing, Erev Shabbos for benish mashos. V'abachol. If it's during the week, echad ratz v'echad mahalech. One is running, one is walking. Then chayiv. Then he indeed is chayiv. Right. So if pashas, you just go ahead and learn the Mishnah without learning the pshat of the Gemara. Then it's a complete opposite. The one who's running is Mashuna. And Shneim Ratzim, but if both of them running, then I feel b'chol, then Paturim, because each one of them are being right. Each one of them are being Mashuna, are being right. They're responsible. So Amar Mar Umayder Isi Ben Yehuda Be'erev Shabbos Ben Shmasha Shehu Patim Pnei Shiras Shabbos because he was running with permission. Be'erev Shabbos my Bereshus. What does it mean? What's the big rush? Ika. I remember Bereshus are Ika. So Kedar Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina says Bo. The Nate said Likas Kala Malkosa. Let's go out and greet the Shabbos Kala. Right, let's go out and feast of Ramadan. Some say Likas Shabbos Kala Malkosa, and some say different lashon Likas the Shabbos Kala Malkosa. So he used to go ahead.
Presuming that they're all keeping Shabbos.
Right. So maybe one guy was already done in time. The other guy was rushing to go ahead and do it. Right. But certainly both of them are rushing to do it. So they run out to greet the Shabbos Kala. So in Svastis, go out into the forest and right. So they're running out with that rishus. They're running out. Fine. Mishnah says, "Hamavak which is a rabbi vehizik which is a yachid." The person, let's say, he's going ahead and chopping wood in the rishus rabbi, which one is normally not allowed to do. The hizik which is a yachid, and a piece of wood flies off and causes damage into someone's private yard, into that person in someone's own yard. So I'm chopping wood in the backyard, and a piece of wood flies into Bob's backyard, and Bob is standing there. or b'shus yachid, or I'm standing in my own yard and I'm chopping wood, but he's b'shus yachid, and a piece of wood flies off and hits someone b'shus rabbim, or I'm in my b'shus yachid, he's a b'shus yachid, and then a piece flies off and flies into Bob's yard and hits Bob who's standing there. B'shus yachid acher chayiv. All three cases I'm chayiv. Why do you list all three cases? Let's see. Maybe if I thought all the cases of yachid and then cause damage to the rabbin, because I'm in my yard, right? I'm close to the rabbin, and I should know that people are going to be there, and I should be more careful. If I'm chopping wood towards yachid, right, towards Bob's yard, the rabbin, because people are not often there. I mean, it is Bob's yard, but how often is Bob's yard? Aim alone, maybe you'd say I'm potter. Vitan, which is a rabbin, which is a yachid, which should be karash shus. And if the case of Rishis Rabbim, I had that case and I was chopping into Rishis Yachid, maybe the reason why I'm chayiv is because I'm chopping wood shalom rishus of it, right? It really, one doesn't really have a right to go ahead and be chopping wood in public, right? But maybe if I'm in Rishis Yachid, it flies in Rishis Rabbim, maybe I'd say I'm potter, even though people are shchiach. So therefore, it wrote that case. And if it taught these two cases, one is I'm chayiv because it's going toward Rishis Rabbim and people are common there. And the other time when I'm in the public way going towards Rishus Yachid is because I'm really chopping wood without permission. If I'm Rishus Yachid, but if I'm chopping wood in my backyard and I'm facing Bob's backyard, Rishus Yachid Acher, the Rabbim, a lot of people are not in Bob's yard, and then normally I'm chopping wood, right? And I'm doing it with permission because I can use my backyard as however I want. Maybe you would say I would not be chayiv. Therefore, I am chayiv because I am responsible for my force. And if I'm chopping wood and the pieces are flying off, I am responsible for where my wood flies off. Fine. When it goes out and he goes into the store of a carpenter without permission. In other words, is a sign on the door. It's I guess maybe I'm sorry. Work in progress, right? It's not just like not a shop that sells stuff, like the olive shop, or whatever everyone goes, in Mea Sharim, whatever, right? But it's where they actually making the wood. So I go there without, then Venidza Bika V'Tavcha Apanav, and then a piece of wood flies off and it hits the guy who trespassed, who maced, and he died. Putter, he's putter from Golos. Right? Because he wasn't supposed to be there. However, if the guy knocked the door, he says, "Oh, come in. And then the guy's chopping wood, and then it hits the guy who walked in. Chai. So my chai, what does it mean? Chai. So Rabbi Yisrael Chanina, chai b'dal dvarim. He's chai if he causes damage to dal dvarim. He's to pay for his medical bills and his unemployment and disability, whatever it is. He's all the four damages that we discussed. Upater migos. But he's pater from Gos. He's not chayim Gos in this case. Because it's not similar to a case in the forest. Now, the case in the forest is two people are chopping wood, right? And then one guy, either the handle flies off or the piece of wood comes out. So that was in the yar. So we have to compare what is a yar compared to getting permission to walk into someone else's store. Okay. Now the fee, it's not. We're saying it's she'ein doim eliyar. Why? Yar zelushuso nichnas v'zelushuso nichnas. Right. So this one is a permission to enter the forest, and it was that rishus lenichas zelushus chaverim nichas. But in this case, right, one guy walked into the carpenter. It was the carpenter's store. When the carpenter says you come in, it doesn't mean now, hey, we're partners in this location. It's our store together. No. It's the carpenter's store. He's just allowing you to enter. Right, so zelush is the nichas, zelush is nichas, but this one zelush is chaver nichas, and so therefore, since I was in his property, he's in his property, therefore he's potter. So Rava says, really it should be the opposite.
Is it negligent on the person to walk in and not know that there perhaps will be a chance that he gets killed from the splinter?
Well, the guy said he can't come in.
Doesn't know that typically in that field.
Well, I mean, he's not chayiv. He's not chayiv goes. He's not chayiv for killing him. So yeah, I mean, he should have been more. He should have been more alert.
Right.
But the other guy was chopping wood, right? And he knows he's chopping wood, so he's right. He's off the hook. And so Rava says, no. What do you mean, kav chaymer? Ma yar zeladaita nichnas in a forest. Each one. They know that there's a possibility that other people are there. So nasa kamisha nichnas ladas chaver. It's like they came in with the knowledge. So the goyla and never as your chayiv goes in that case. Zesh ladas chaver nichnas lakoshkin. Over here, right now, in the case of forest, it's possible for someone to be here. This case where I knew you were coming in, the carpenter knew the guy came in. The carpenter should be responsible. He knows there's somebody there. He should have been more careful while chopping the wood. Look, Halshagain, so Elama Rava, my putter. What does Rava say? What does putter mean? Putter mi golus deloy sagile begolus. In other words, because golus is not enough. In other words, golus is for a case which is it's not oinus, and it's not made. No, not pure X in your putter, right? If you do it purposely, you're chayiv. So it's somewhere. It has to be halfway between purposely and complete accident. Right? It's called shogeg. It's called the shogeg.
It's a shogeg.
It's not onus. It's not mazid. It's shogeg. It's in the middle. But in this case, it's closer to mazid, and therefore you don't deserve the kapara that you get for goats. It's called shogeg karav lemazid. It's very close to karav lemazid. I'm chopping wood, and you walk in. I continue chopping wood. If I told you to come in, then I should really stop chopping wood. Why? I didn't intend for you to die, but I was very careless by chopping wood. Therefore, you're a putter because you don't deserve goats. So Mesiv Rava. So I understand. Rava has kasha. The guy was giving someone malchus, and he gave him an extra blow. Umes, and the guy died. Who was receiving the malchus for whatever punishment he had. The malchus he gave him. You give up until the guy died. He was on 26. He shouldn't have given 27. They gave him number 27. He died. Harei Goyla. Al Yoda. Or could be even if he gave him the last, right. So he says, so he gets Golos. I have a hacha to show you the Mesid who the boy Suke Adaite. Right? So the Maisin Bechadr Tsua. Right. So in this case, I understand. So he should have been able to go ahead and say, "Hey, one more blow, and this person is a goner." Right? Victoria Hareza Gula. And says over there, he goes to Gullus. So you should have known that he was going to die from giving him that extra one. Some Rav Shimi.
The one who actually does the hitting is not the one who decides the number of.
Very good, very good, very good. All right, so let's see. So Rav Shimi ben Hardia, the tub minyan. Right, they made a mistake on the count. Now, they made a mistake on the count. So the Gemara says, right. So in other words, the basin originally estimated, okay, this guy's going to need 26, and they made it. He was already on 27. So no, topically. So the type of and then therefore he did. So topically, Rabba the sandless. So Rabba says, tap him on the shoulder on the shoe. So I'm late. Atu Humani, is he the one who counts? Votani, we're going to write a Golos should be Yanam correct, right? The grace of the Yanam calls out, right? Okay, hit, right? Or he says, right? He calls that he goes out and he tells them to go ahead and we're giving him Malchus, right? And the second one, Vasheni Moina, the second one is the count. Vashlish Yaiber Haku, hit him, right? So we see, so those three are doing it. So it's like as Mark pointed out, it's not him. Okay, so one of the judges made a mistake, and therefore that's the reason why he's high. So the judge didn't do anything, but in this case, yeah. So therefore, it's not Karv Lamazid because he was the counter was really the one who was Karv Lamazid, and I shouldn't have hit it. So therefore, I get shogun.
Hit should be totally annoying,
but he's not because he shouldn't have hit it, even in a kanam. I mean, the Gemara used it to deflect the case, but you really have to see in that case over there, right? Why, maybe
he should be counting himself too,
right? So maybe he should have, even though he should have checked, but he was one of the mice who gave the Makam Fatish, right? So Meisvei Hazarek is even though she's a rabbin, so a person goes ahead and throws a stone to she's a rabbin v'hareg, and he kills somebody. Harei ze gol, and he goes to Golos. I v'hacha the sheikar lemeisidu. Why is he going there? He throws the rock in the public, right? You know you're going to kill someone. It's Karl Lemezit. Right? That he should have known there because he should have checked before. He knows that people are there before. And he gets Golos. We're talking about a person who's tearing down his wall, and that's how the rock from there goes. So I understand. Right? He should have checked. Right? Okay, he's taking down his wall. But he's taking down his wall. He knows boulders are falling down. He's going to kill somebody. So no, besides what he's doing at night. B'layla nami, but you should also go check at night. Besides this, kaisla b'yayim la'ashba. No, okay, fine. He's doing it during the day, but towards the garbage dumps. Mar says once again, hi ashba, hey chidam. What type of garbage dump is this? If people are commonly there, then mezitu. Below, and if not, if no one's ever there, then it's an inus. It's completely accident. Some rapapa like tzrika ela be'ashba hasui lifanas b'layla. It's a place where people use it to go to the bathroom at night when it's dark and private. People don't go there during the day. However, there are sometimes people you gotta go. They'll go ahead and use it even during the day. So amazing, so it's not mazid, because it's not a place where people typically go during the day. However, Einis Nami lo havi, but however, it's a complete accident. There are people who happen to go there sometimes during the day. And Rav Papa made the Rav Masni lo Reisha. So Rav Papa he taught this thing about the Reisha and Hanichnas lechanusa shel nagar. A person goes into the store of a nagar shalom b'shus without permission. Vanisa la bika, and then a thing flew out. A piece of wood flew out, alpanav, and hit him in the face. Umeis, and he died. Potter, he's Potter from Gullus. So he entered. Then, if he entered without permission, then the guy is Potter, right? Some Rav Yezer Chanina chayiv barbadvar Potter from Gullus. Right? No, he is chayiv for the nezek because it's still his force, but he's Potter from Gullus. So man masya seifa kosh generation. The one that says in the seifa he's Potter from Gullus. Certainly in the ratio man masya reisha, but the one that says in the reisha seifa. Kaven the Rishus Chai in the Rishus, since he entered with permission, then Chayiv Galus. Then he is Chayiv Galus. You mean Chayiv Galus, and he's the one Galus. For a time, I'm going to buy Sanichas the Chanusa Shel Navar. Right, one goes Venitza, he goes into a blacksmith and it sparks from Avatachlo Apanav and hits him in the face of mace and he dies. Potter. The Afilo Nichas Bershutz, he enters with permission. So when it says no. We're talking about the guy's assistant, and he kills him. Then he's 7 seconds. Then he is Potter. So it says, I understand. Should the nafre the coin? Well, I could just go ahead and kill my assistant. So it says, no. Let's say, no. The owner was telling him, hey, go. You should leave now because I'm banging out with the hammer. So the says, Avena Yates, and he doesn't leave. The Gemara says, I'm sure the Rabbim Sargol, let's say, so because his boss told him to leave and he didn't leave, so he's deserving of death. So rather, Kasever Yatsa, he thought he left, and that's why he don't believe, and he thought he left, and then he started banging, and then the guy died. So the says, so why does it be his assistant? It could be anybody. So the answers, lest they must have the rabbi. Somebody else might not listen, so he would have to double check. But his own assistant, so the rabbi, he will listen to his master. So therefore, the master tells him, go ahead and leave. I'm going ahead and using the blacksmith, right? I'm banging. So then he didn't think to double check, and therefore that's the reason why he would be Potter in that case, because his person he warned him, he thought for sure he would leave. All right.